Right now.
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 Because it's time to write now. Welcome to another day of daily writing motivation. Today, we're going to get in some writing as normal and try to make some progress on our stories as we're getting into the weekend. Today, Fridays are always the perfect day to start getting into that writing vibe if you've been busy with the work week, because you're going to be able to push yourself and then set yourself up for success to get into Saturday and Sunday. We'll be doing not one, not two, but 3 writing sprints. We'll start the first one off at 25 minutes and see how it goes. We'll chat in between the breaks and check in on our writing and see how we are feeling. Maybe post some writing questions. We'll see. Welcome to the community. I'm Kaufman. I'm on a mission to help the writers with the process, lifestyle, and mindset that it takes to be an author. It is a journey, and I get it. So come join us because we're starting right now. All right, my friends, I am ready with my cup of coffee. What do you have drinking this morning? Or this afternoon. My morning, your afternoon. What do you have drinking and brewing in this fine afternoon? I have a delicious latte, cinnamon latte, fully brewed. Hey, what's up, ML? Welcome, my friend. Hope the day is treating you well. And Oscar, welcome to the stream. Hey, what's up? You're like drinking coffee? Yes. ML, cheers. I love it. I love hearing what everyone else is drinking. And I know, ML, you're another coffee connoisseur addict like myself. Hey, what's up, SFD? Thanks for stopping by, my friend. Like, hey, mate, friends with the like button. I appreciate you. All right. You're like, finished revisions on my novella, due to editor tomorrow. Now running it through Pro Writing Aid. Good for you. That's awesome. That's awesome. You were actually able to make some solid progress on your novella. I know you're like, you had a lot of work to do. Good. Great work. And it's interesting you use Pro Writing Aid. I've tried Pro Writing Aid. What was the other one? There's another program that I was trying, which like the equivalent to Pro Writing Aid. I just forgot what it was called. But I've definitely heard good things and bad. I'm like, wonder if I should put mine through one of those writing programs. I mean, I know I'm going for an editor, so we'll see. We'll see when I get there. February's got to be a good month. Hey, what's up, Neil? Thank you so much, my friend. Really, really appreciate that. We'll be doing that after the masterclass. Will be after the stream. Very, very much appreciated. Thank you. Oscar, like me, already watching a different stream. Oh, Kaufman is streaming by. Oh, Oscar, I appreciate you, my friend. You get a heart. That means a lot to me. Autocrypt. Yep, SD. Yeah, autocrypt. I tried out, I want to say for a couple weeks in fall of last year, I tried out autocrypt because I wanted to try to do a new program for live streaming with doing the software on screen. But what I learned was with the internet setup that I had and autocrypt, it was lagging really badly when I was live streaming. And then when I reached out to their team, they shared, because I had such a large manuscript, because I loaded my whole rough draft into the program, that it was likely causing lagging issues. But then my thing was like, okay, well, most authors, like, because I'm on a revision of it, I'm like, well, most authors are probably putting large books into it. I know mine is an epic, so mine's at 150,000. That point is 140,000. But yeah, I was like, that was kind of interesting, which made me realize is like, I wanted to bring a new software onto the screen outside of Microsoft Word. But if it's lagging, like I can't, that minimizes the viewer experience, and I can't really do that. Pro Writing Aid is a monthly or yearly subscription or lifetime one-time payment, but always during Black Friday. They give a 50% discount lifetime deal. I got it a couple years ago. I think it was just under 200. Yeah, I know I've heard other writers in the community use Pro Writing Aid. I've heard some good things about it. Pro Writing Aid is better than autocrypt with editing. Ooh, that's actually really good to know. Once I get through a couple drafts with Scarecrow, and I know I'm going to send it off to an editor, I might try it, run it through Pro Writing Aid and give it a shot. That's interesting. I always loved learning about new writing, or always love trying writing programs that I haven't done before. You can run Pro Writing Aid in your Word document. I don't see it as much lag. You know what I do have actually, and now that I think about it, I'm like, that's literally the same thing. I run Grammarly. And this I'm curious, SD, would Grammarly do the same thing as Pro Writing Aid? Is that like the same type of software? Because so far, I mean, Grammarly is like an interesting tool. I think it helps maybe like 30% of the time with editing stuff. I think like 30% of the time where it like offers interesting technical suggestions. And I'm like, yeah, that would actually make more sense. Oscar, like I used Grammarly for 1 day years ago, and it was telling me to use that they're wrong. It was like being in a toxic relationship when you start doubting yourself. Oscar, that sounds like the start to a story. It's like a love story with the different writing software, or with the different editing writing software. And it looks like ML uses Pro Writing Aid as well. Well, regardless, whatever we're using, let's get some writing done today. Well, so let's get into the writing vibe. We'll chat a little bit more. I'm actually really curious. I'd love to talk about software today. So we'll check into the software question in the break, because I have there's some software questions that I have in mind. But I need to get into Scarecrow. As you guys know, where am I at? So you guys know my process. Now that I'm in the second draft, I have to go through what I like to do before starting a new chapter is I like to review and figure out what are the problems that I have to solve. Let's see. What is the summary? The summary is the heroes get trapped in a garden. Nope. Okay, so now that I've like really updated this, let's see. So in this, ooh, we have a lot of characters in this one. Let's see. Scarecrow. Oh god, we have a lot of characters. I know. Oh man. I want to say this chapter is a self-contained. This chapter is pretty self-contained, but there is a lot. Oy vey. All right. All right. So I know we have Golden Wildflower. We have a Wildflower. There's like a bunch of miscellaneous characters in this. I want to say they're current pair of vegetables. Yeah, wow. I was like, I'm looking at all the characters that I have in this next section, and I'm basically taking all the speaking part that I'm taking all the speaking parts. All right, I think we're going to do that for now. So I just had to get a sense for the characters, and then we're just going to say miscellaneous miscellaneous characters. Okay, so I'll throw this up on screen. As you guys can see, I'm doing some planning for my outline, but let's get into our writing. Let's get into the sprint, and we'll see what progress we can make today. So whether you are brainstorming, writing, or editing, that is all part of the process. Come join us, because it is time to write now. All right, writing sprint done. Time for a break. Time for a break. All right, wow. So on that writing sprint, I was definitely getting some great planning in. I was getting some great planning in. So it's interesting because I'm into Act Two now with Scarecrow, and the first third, the Act One, the first third of the story is really focused around a solo-ish journey for the most part, where it's very like Scarecrow's traveling and chasing after Crow through these very quiet atmosphere, this quiet, crazy elemental environments. Act Two is very different tonally, and it's intentionally so, where every single area that Scarecrow and now Crow and Pebble the pixie travel to is inhabited by very weird, strange little tribes in a sense. So they're coming to the garden because Scarecrow is trying to get more. I've now updated his intent because he needs to get more strong stuffing, and now he's being led there by Pebble, who is really on a quest for revenge. She thinks that her brother is there, but she doesn't remember now why she's returning back there because she's of course losing her memories. Um, and in the original draft, the gardens, which is this real chapter, is essentially Scarecrow, Crow, and Pebble go to the gardens. They encounter a bunch of talking plants and wildflowers, and there's a golden wildflower who is in charge, who is basically kind of like a siren. It basically sings, and then suddenly they lose time. They come to their senses days later and realize that they have been working toilessly, endlessly in the field. They do things, they escape, burning the garden down in their escape because Pebble wasn't affected by the same magic. In this revision, I really want to play up this the creepiness factor of it. And I think in the original version, there's some strange elements, but I want it to come across like it's like enchantingly creepy. I want it to be enchantingly creepy. I really want to play up the elements that this golden wildflower is a siren. And I think that will be fun. And I want to play up to the mystery of it. Of the reason she's basically sirening them into toiling in the garden is they're digging graves. And they realize by the end that her power, which is basically musical manipulation, basically enchants passerbys. And it really was animals. It enchants animals, and then it over time turns them into plants and vegetables. So they realize that they're actually digging graves as these for and all the plants they've been passing are actually animals who've been cursed over time, and it creates this very like creepy vibe. So I'm very happy. Um, I have to make sure that each of these obstacles, each of these areas in this story are very much just I want it to feel very unique. So I'm very happy with the direction that it's going in now. Let's see. How did that writing sprint treat y'all? Were you guys able to make some progress that time? I know I saw a couple of you hop in the chat. I know Tiara and Penelope. I saw both of you guys in here. Like, they're like going to print out some of my tarot cards and do art. That is always fun. Always fun. And Tiara, like, yo, just finished up some writing sprints over my channel. 'Twas fun. Wrote like 2,000 words in 3 hours. Heck yes. Heck yes, my friend. That is so awesome. Congrats. That's awesome that you're doing writing sprints on your channel, Tiara. That's actually really cool. Very cool. I like highly respect anybody else who does writing sprints and doing the YouTube trek and vibe. It's a journey. Like it takes me a little bit, but once I lock in, I do okay. I know, right? It's like with live streaming and writing on the live stream, it's like I kind of like start and I push myself into it, and then once I kind of get my flow for this stream, I feel like I'm in a pretty good process. Hey, what was your dream that inspired you, Cough? I know I posted yesterday. What was it? What was the dream? It was actually the garden. It was this garden chapter. Yeah, so it actually started off because I was dreaming about it. This doesn't happen to me as often. But I was dreaming about the Scarecrow story, and then I was dreaming about Pebble the Pixie. And I think I dreamed through this garden, through this next arc with Pebble, and it helped me to think about some ideas that were kind of roughly there in the rough draft, and how I wanted to elevate them. The rough draft, the gardening experience, is like, it's kind of strange. In the second draft, I want it to be strange and creepy, and for it to be very clear for the reader to have a very good sense what it is and what's going on by the time they're fleeing from it. Great question. Yeah, I have so much fun going into doing story development. I really do. And I know that each of you guys, anyone here in the stream, you guys can probably relate with that. I'm curious, have any of you had any fun brainstorming sessions for your stories as of late? Any fun brainstorming sessions? I know, obviously, for me, I'm on a second draft, so I'm probably in a slightly different position. But I'm not sure if you guys are in like a rough draft, second, later draft, or where you're at in your storytelling progress. So I would definitely love to hear from you. Drop a comment. It's interesting because sometimes when I'm brainstorming, I start feeling at this stage anyways, at this stage, not in general. At this stage, I start feeling a little guilty when I spend too much time brainstorming, because I'm like, well, I have to make progress on the story, right? I'm like pushing myself on a timeline. I'm like, February, 70,000 words or else. It's hit the road, Kaufman. if I don't hit my goal. Oh man, you're like, Tiara. Oh, Kaufman, I'm working on a Substack posts that aren't ready yet, but I reached out to my tattoo artist for a logo for the page, and she sent me the draft last night, dude. It looks so dope. Tiara, that's so awesome. I definitely, please let me know when it's ready, and definitely make sure, Tiara, that you throw it down in the Discord. I can totally relate with that. When we have work being done and we get to see the finished product, it is so fire. And I can tell you guys this, my cover design for The Last Scarecrow is almost done. And seeing it evolve over time, I am like mind blown. The cover is so bomb. I'm just like, I am so happy with it. The cover for this book is going to be incredible. Oh, I'm so excited. I literally just like want to show it to everybody, but I'm gonna save it for I'll do a full cover reveal party and make a whole stream experience out of it. And I will probably be launching, I'll probably do the cover design reveal with the launch of the Last Scarecrow website. So I'll probably launch them simultaneously, either sometime later in February or early March, once I'm ready, because I really want to be intentional with it. But I can tell you guys, the cover is really cool. My vision, I got a really cool artist, and I feel like my vision is really coming to life. And I had a very intentional way that I wanted the cover to feel and look, and I think it still does adhere to standard fantasy what is the word, formats, or it adheres to cover design fantasy styles and trends in 2024, which I'm very happy about, while it still feels like it's unique. It has this like unique vibe, and I'm just so excited about it. I'm like so stoked, man. Yeah, thank you. I know, I just want to show it right now. I'm like, okay, I have to. Don't get too excited. I'll have many months to deal with the Scarecrow advertising. Like, oh my god, yay. Thanks, Jenny. I really appreciate that. Wait, are you planning on doing a website for each book series? You know, Lynn, great question. I know I said the Scarecrow website, but it's actually going to be an author website. Originally, when I got my website, when I hired my website designer, originally I was like, yeah, just get a website for the book. But then they recommended, like, no, you should do an author website, and then that way you can layer on each book. So I know I said the Scarecrow website, but for clarification, it's an author website. It's an author website that highlights right now, obviously, the Last Scarecrow. So good question. And of course, the Last Scarecrow is the beginning of a series, book 1 of the Dawn of Magic series. So yeah, exactly. Doing an author website is much easier to maintain. Yeah, and that's what my website designer recommended as well. They're like, you don't want to have to create a new website every time you do a new series. You want to do a single author website, and then that way you can layer on every time you have new books launching. So yeah, completely agree. Right now, in terms of websites, I have my writing service website. We have the Creative Ghost, which is for like all my I think right now it's for all the writing service stuff. I'm like, what do I have on the Creative Ghost? It's been a second since I've been looking at it for the masterclass stuff, but when I think about websites, what I have here. So, this is basically the writing service. I had the masterclass stuff right here. I was like, yeah, this was like definitely the only thing that I was really focused on. I have it for coaching and editing, which I've created 2 tabs. Writing advice is the Right Now community of Right Now community stuff. Bio. Yeah, so right now the writing service website, and it does have my portfolio as well. Yeah, so essentially it's just a writing service based website. In terms of the websites that are coming, I have my author website, which is the one that I'll probably launch next. And then I do plan on launching a website for the Right Now community, because currently the Right Now community is a tab on the writing service based website, but I would like to get its own website so it can really emphasize some other points. All right. Hey, what's up, Penumbra? You're like absolutely right. Website for each series would be so much work. Completely agreed. All right, my friends. I think this time I've gotten my brainstorming done, so I think I'm in a good place. I'm probably going to be hopping right into the writing. So let's get into it. But if you are enjoying the stream, follow and subscribe. Make sure to come join us on the journey. We're here every day with writing motivation, whether you're looking for writing sprints, critique streams, author interviews. We have our spring community writing events like the book club, the Faded Fantasy Fiction Contest, and much, much more. So if you need that help with writing, make sure to tap that follow and subscribe button, and you'll be alerted when we go live. All right, my friends. So I wanted to get the subscribe in. Let's get into our next writing sprint. And I think this time, we really need to push ourselves. I feel like the 25 was a good starter. Let's up it to 30 minutes. We'll add 5 more minutes on the clock. So I'm going to up it to 30 minutes, and we'll see what progress we can get into this time. I know this time I'm ready to start on the writing sprint on the writing myself. I got the brainstorming in last time. So I am already on my end. Let's get this 30 minutes. Perfect. And then we'll check back in and we'll hop back into another break after the writing sprint. If there's any questions you have for the group, like if there's something you need help with, drop a comment and I'll throw it up during the next break. All right. So I am all ready. Whether you are brainstorming, writing, or editing, that's all part of the process because it's time to write now. All right, writing sprint done. Writing sprint done. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So, let's do a shorter break that time. I know I feel like I was making great progress in this part of the book. It's kind of funny. I keep getting to each of these chapters, and I'm like, all right, I need to add on additional detail to make sense what I had previously written. And I'm realizing now with the additional details I'm gonna have to really catch up the character journeys to make it work. I'm gonna have to do the same thing. So when I think about Act Two, I have there's four major areas of interest. Yeah, there's four major areas of interest that the characters generally travel through for Act Two. There is the gardens. There's the what's a name for it? It's like the inventor. It's not the inventor. We're gonna call it the village of misfits for now. Whatever. Let's see. So I have the gardens, the village of misfits, the swamp or the lake of muck, and then the Colosseum. Those are the four major areas of interest. And I know when I think about each of these areas that the gardens, the village of misfits, and the village of misfits are going to need some additional detailing and defining. The swamp of muck is actually pretty well defined along with the Colosseum. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Oh my god, I need to get rid of words and I keep adding more. This that'll be funny. The second draft started with 140 and then I'm like, all right, I need to get down to 120. I end up at 200. Oh, that's funny. Now I already know some sections that I'm going to cut later on in the act, and I'm going to see if that's enough to get the word count down. If not, I can always cut a subplot, but hopefully I prefer not to. Do you guys ever deal with that? And I would love to hear if any of you ever struggle with when you're plotting, when you get a rough draft, do you ever, like your rough draft, you have probably a lot of core locations and ideas. Do you ever have to cut down certain areas when you get to second or third draft to match genre conventions? And I'd love to hear, I know Emma, Lynn, you guys are both in the chat. For those of you guys who've published before, when you get to later drafts, have you had to cut whole chapters or subplots to be able to match word count conventions for your genres? I'd love to hear. Because I feel like if I launched a book with I feel like if I launched the book at 150,000 plus words, it feels like that might be that's more than the standard for these fantasy genre conventions. I know word counts are a little higher for the genre, and the trends for the fantasy genre have been higher than average, but I still feel like 120 is kind of like feels like it needs to be for the first book. I don't know. I'd love your guys' ideas. Yeah, so this is kind of what I was thinking as well. And you're like, are any of the locations able to be cut or combined thematically? You know what? I went back and forth on that for a little while. So of the four areas, we have the gardens, the village of misfits, the lake of muck, and then the Colosseum, which are the four central locations. I asked myself if I could cut any of the areas. And of the four, the third and the fourth one, the Lake of Muck is important for character development and their major plots. And the Colosseum is really ingrained into the midpoint. So then if I were to do something, it would have to be the gardens or the village of misfits. And I think the problem is I feel like if I cut either of them, their journey to the midpoint would feel too short. I think that's what I'm concerned about. Their journey would feel too short if I cut either of those. And then I'm like, okay, well, what do they achieve? They both achieve world building. And the village is actually important for how it affects Scarecrow and Scarecrow's decision making on the back end of the book from the events that happen there. The gardens is important for Pebble's character development. That's why the gardens is important. It also plays into the world building. I don't know. Great question. I need to think through it. Brianna, you're like, that was a great sprint. It gave me time to complete my website redesign and start drafting my February newsletter. Yes. As we all know, we need to get through our newsletters, right? All this admin work is taking time away from my writing. Well, but you know what? That's so important, right? For author branding, obviously we want to be writing all the time, but we have to be able to make time for the admin stuff. Because if we don't work on the brand, we have to be able to cultivate that experience for our readers. So understandable, but necessary. Hey there, you're like, what are these genre conventions of which you speak? You're like, we're just you and your indie authorness. I know, for me who wants to capture and go after mainstream fantasy genre conventions. That's funny. Hey, what's up, Mary? Hi, just catching up, dude. I'll check out other author websites. Juliette Merier has multiple series, so books and blogs are all there. Yeah, and that's kind of what I've seen from popular authors. They kind of have all their books on their author website. Lynn, you're like, I've had to cut subplots before. Took a 140K book to 102K. Audience missed nothing. Interesting. And I think so. And I think what my plan is, Lynn, I think that when I get through the second draft, I'm going to try to cut. There's a couple sections that I'm going to cut from from some of these later parts of Act 2 and see what I get the word count down to after Act 2. Because of the entire story, I know Act 2 is the one that needs to be shortened, since I've now broken up into a 4-act structure. And if I get through the end of Act 2 and I haven't cut down the word count enough, then I will consider cutting down a subplot. So great call out. But that's crazy that you're able to cut down about 38,000 words and still follow the core journey. You're like, I think LSM ended up like 75,000, but it hung out at 60,000. I want to write short, punching off. You just want to go through twice. All right, short, end up at like 75, but it hung out at 60,000. Interesting that readers want to go through twice. Yeah, and I mean that, but like that works, right? That works for that strategy. And I know with Scarecrow, fantasy readers generally expect a longer reading experience for one. Average genre conventions for fantasy books tend to be 90 to 120K, with first books of series tending to be a little shorter. I want the Last Scarecrow to feel like it's a long reading experience, very intentionally so. I want the reader to feel like that they can get lost in the story and that they come out of it and they feel like they've been through this crazy, incredible experience. And then they'll put it down and they'll want to come back and read it again in a few years, or when book 2 comes out. And then they'll catch up and they'll refresh. They're like, oh yeah, I missed that before. That's kind of the way that I want Scarecrow to feel. I want the reading experience for it to feel like somebody can go back through it maybe once a year or once every couple of years, and then really get back and be able to catch things, because it's such like an intensive adventure, fantasy adventure. Yeah, like Mary, like there are many ways to cut word count without taking anything necessary from the plot or characters. Yeah. I totally agree with that. That's why I'm trying to focus. I think my mind is like, okay, I'm going to get through Act 2 and I'll see what I can cut from some of the transitionary stuff. And then if I still don't have enough, if Act 2 is still a little bit too lengthy, then I will start trimming. I'll start trimming from probably the world building. I'll probably start trimming from some of the world building aspects. And if that's not enough, then I'll have to trim a subplot. I'm like, I edit as I go, so I cut and add. That's awesome. It's really, really awesome. I have that like variation of that. All right, beautiful. What do we have? So I was like, I don't think I have anything crazy. I don't have anything crazy to advertise right now. Our writing sprint streams this week are going to be very straightforward, since I'm focused on the masterclass this weekend. So with my timing, it looks like I got about 27 minutes. So I'm going to hop into, we'll do one more writing sprint. All right. I really wanted to do another 30 minutes. I was like, okay, we'll do one more writing sprint. I'll do it at 25 minutes. We'll do that. So we'll do one more writing sprint. We'll see what we can get into. I really want to push. I really want to push and keep working here. Awesome. So I'm going to do 25 minutes on the clock. And let's do it. So we'll get one more sprint in. Let's make some progress and end off our writing stream strong. Let's do it. Whether you are brainstorming, writing, or editing, that's all part of the process. Come join us because we're ready for writing sprint number 3, and it's time to, hopefully, right now. All right. And that was the third writing sprint. Congrats, my friends. We were able to make some solid progress today. I am very, very happy with what we were able to achieve. So I know I was able to get the full setup for this chapter. I'm very happy. I got them right to the point where we're going to introduce the obstacle and the antagonist of this specific subplot. So I'm very happy with what I got. I think I've layered on enough foreshadowing. Of course, can fine tune the word choice and the style, but that's for a later draft. I'm happy with where I landed, and I hope you're able to get some work done as well. We got 3 writing sprints and some good conversations. So today was great. Now, as we reach creative writing on the morrow, I'll be back tomorrow with another writing sprint stream. We'll be back a little earlier than we normally do on Saturdays, with streaming at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. So make sure to come join tomorrow if you want to make sure to get some more writing done on the weekend. This weekend, super casual for the main live stream audience, because we're just going to try to get some writing done. I'm going to try to get through this chapter. I feel good. I'll be able to get through this chapter throughout the weekend. So very, very awesome. And if you enjoyed the stream, tap that like button on your way out. Help me show the algorithm that writing streams are cool. All right, my friends, thanks for joining us. But unfortunately, that brings us to the end of the stream. Don't forget, words are wind, but stories are forever. I'm Kaufman, and I'll catch you on the morrow. Stay creative, my friends.
Right now.
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 Because it's time to write now.